let's get into this. So it was about June. Wait, let's just. I'm just gonna open the calendar real quick. Like June 14th is the day I left. No, June 19th was the day I left. So I left for a good old place named Mitchell, Oregon, which is essentially just a high plains desert. If you don't know what if you don't know how deserts work, it's fucking hot during the day and it's fucking freezing at night. That is how a desert kind of works. It was essentially camping, so I had to pack up the like. Ooh, what is the day? Like the 18th and the 17th. I was packing, mainly the 17th, I think. So I had to get I had a tent, a sleeping bag, an air mattress, anything to make me comfortable while camping in a fucking desert of all places. And that tent was my home for about 26 days because it was from the 19th of June to the day I came back, which was the 14th of July. Why we didn't go live yesterday is because when I woke up from the night of the 14th, I woke up to a cramp in my leg and all of the soreness of walking up and down like 14, 15 different mountains really caught up to me. And funny enough, I did not lose any weight when I was out there because I had to keep eating to maintain calories out there. But essentially, no, I did lose like 5 pounds of weight, which is not a lot, but I had to keep fucking eating. And at first it was fine because like breakfast was like eggs and shit, like a normal breakfast, eggs, sausage, bacon, whatever. But like since it was eggs every single fucking day, eventually I got so sick of eggs that I could like physically not eat eggs anymore. And there was a point like through like the last week where it was like literally having a PTSD attack on eggs. And me and my friends around me were just struggling to just eat eggs, which I fucking love eggs, but like it, oh man, I did not think I would get so sick of a food that it makes me like physically nauseous. And no offense to the cook that was out there that was cooking for us, but eggs were getting to me. But I had to eat them because it was the protein for the morning part of the exercises, and like, well, not exercise, more like just climbing up a fucking mountain. And yeah, essentially it's just like some garbage. Let me pull out. So I have damn eggs. I know, fuck eggs, by the way. I will not be eating eggs for at least another month. So I have my field notebook that I have. He got sunburned. Yeah, I was sunburnt to shit. I did not take any photos, but like first week I was so burnt that I peeled, and then I peeled off the sunburn just to get sunburnt again in the same spot. Kind of stupid on my part, but it was I like the peeling. It's like fun. It's like when you rub glue on your hands and you peel off the glue. But I have my field notebook, and there's some like notes in here about the geology of the area, because you kind of have to take notes as you're walking throughout the very things. So let's just go to like a random day. Let's see. I don't want to do that one. That one's kind of lame. Let's go to like an early one. Like June 27th. Stop one was, I climbed the ridge from Gable Road to the Conglomerate Ridge. Found a reverse fault slipping at a 174.30 trend and plunge. That was stop one. I would have cried because that's too much walking. Yeah, walking, it was about almost 10 miles a day. And then add in like it's not flat ground, it's steep ass ridges and mountains. So it's not a lot of flat ground. Like probably very minor flat ground. I will say the best feeling is getting to the top of the mountain and then walking like the ridge line of that mountain, because that's like the most flat ground you'll ever get. What else was in there? Let's go back to June 27th. Stop 2 was at the top of the first ridge, sitting on a possibly conglomerate sandstone unit. And then I did a little doodle of a fucking mountain. Stop 3 was in the valley of looking at a possible andesite due to the light gray. It has amphiboles and plagioclase, fairly fine grain, so extrusive, possible flow, but top is probably intrusive. Stop 4 was top of the valley ridge, probably sitting on andesite outcrop, muscovite crystals present, and yeah, that's the general gist of you write down your various places that you go, and you write down what you see in the rock. So we have a thing called a rock hammer, and it's basically a hammer end, and then the other end is like a pickaxe, like a little mini pickaxe. And you use the hammer end. You never really use the pickaxe unless you're prying shit, and you don't ever hit with it so you don't spark a fire out in the desert. But essentially, you break open an outcrop, and an outcrop is basically rock poking out of the ground that is attached to like very far down into the earth. Not just like a random boulder, because we don't want random boulders. We want physical outcrops. So you hit that with your hammer, try to get a fresh face. So not a weathered rock. I think erosion of rock is a pretty like known thing since like 5th grade, that you know that rocks weather through rain and like wind and shit. Did you touch it, V? I don't know what you're referring to, but I did touch a lot of rocks. Basically, yeah. So like basalt and andesite and like mudstone, sandstone, conglomerates, like a lot of different rocks, because this is like a geology thing. This class is like a 400 level class. It's basically our capstone project for my entire like bachelor's degree, and kind of fucking it's mainly focused on like structural geology and like the physics of it. Damn, 400. Yeah, 400 is probably the max you'll ever hit in like college, kind of, at least for where I'm at. So like you have 100, 200, 300, 400. Each 100 is like a different level of like intensity, and since this is 495, almost touching 500, it's pretty strenuous. The only part is like this is not a class that I was like super keen on, because I don't want to be a structural geologist, and I don't really want to do like the identification of minerals and stuff. I want to do geochemistry, which is a completely different like turnaround from this. I realize this story is a lot of like personal stuff of like not stream related shit, but it is still a fun thing. So if you do go into geology, you almost always have to do an advanced field camp. So when I went away for last summer in September for a thing we called baby field camp, which is $295, that was essentially a week of not really camping, but like in like small apartments, and then we'd go out. And I did that in California in another even hotter desert. And essentially it's just the same. This is the same thing, but you do it for a month and you have to camp. And my God, like, I think the saving grace is that we had one building, and it was the cafeteria, where there was always running water and always electricity. So that's why there was like small updates. There was like, he would turn on the Wi-Fi every once in a while when we had breaks. But for the most part, there was like no Wi-Fi at all. And I would charge my phone only every once in a while, because like I didn't care that much. And I did take some pictures. I have posted them on the Instagram. I have a couple more coming on the Instagram as well. But let's like run through. So like week 1 was the fuck, no Wi-Fi. There was not no Wi-Fi. There was barely Wi-Fi. I had some service too. I had like 1 bar of service because AT&T, yay, can somehow get me that. Drop the Instagram now. You'd have my Instagram, and I was gonna here. I'll open up the Instagram now. I'll play that in the corner. But this was one of my days off. This was called Strawberry Lake, and I posted this like yesterday. Strawberry Lake is actually a very beautiful. Yeah, it's a 2 mile hike, uphill only. There is no downhill up to this lake, but it is probably one of the most beautiful lakes I've ever been to because I think it's a cirque, which is basically just a glacial carving, and that got filled in. But it's very nice, and I actually enjoy getting up to this point. I did post something like 30-ish minutes ago. This is essentially what I would have to climb out in Mitchell. I just realized I was in the way, but whatever. You can kind of see the picture still, but like, let's move my ass. Like you see these like mountains. I don't think I ever went. No, I did. I think I climbed all of this ridge, like, with my group. And like these are all like things that I've climbed. Like this is probably, I think this is the highest point out of all of this that I climbed, and like it's just like a lot of mountain climbing. It's a lot of strenuous shit out there. Let's get like an exclusive little look into some more stuff that I will post on the Insta in a bit. Not today, but like we will eventually get to it. So here's more pictures. My naming scheme of Mountain 2 is very nice. But essentially, this is a basalt outcrop over here. Sorry for the comment. Oh god. But anyway, that's fine. I don't mind a lot of things, but like this is a basalt outcrop over here, as you can see. We were up here. We walked this. You kind of have to go down. This is like a nice little forest area. Like it essentially, this class is hopping from shade to shade, so you don't like die of heat stroke. But like we climbed all this, and we climbed. Oh, that's some travel pictures. These are the sunglasses I was wearing. They're prescription sunglasses because I need glasses. And this is what I was seeing basically all the time. It's a little foggy, but not that great. I would have fell. I've fallen many times on this trip. Here's more of the mountain. This is a field that we were walking through, and this is a car that we found abandoned in the field on a mountain. You blind bet. But me and my friends did a photo shoot at this car, so it was very fun to like find this car out here because we essentially dropped all geology and said, fuck it, photo shoot now of a car out in the field. It's a very weird thing to find a car out here, but it was very fun as well. But these are all like the pictures I have. These trees are from something different that will go on the Insta later. But yeah, there's some fun stuff here, and it's just like overall it was a fun experience. I did not pass with like flying colors. This was like a struggle for me. I got a C in this class, so it's not, I still passed, but I got not the greatest grade, which is fine. Not the biggest of deals. Let's see. There was like week 1 that was essentially it was like a touring, like he would tell us like different things, and I have my book. Thank God I have my book so I can actually like recount some of the things. We went to like different areas, got the units that we were going to be looking at and seeing, like the kind of units that we would see throughout the month. And then like throughout the week it was more touring, and then the first like official thing was called the donut. Essentially it's an andesite circle intrusion with some other stuff inside. That's why it's called a donut, because it's a little weird and it's just a circle. And then the actual official map where we were given our groups. So essentially you're put into groups of 3, sometimes 4 if there's a weird number of people. But I was given my group of 3, and it was called Gable Creek or something. That had like 3 big mountains that we had to climb, which I fucking hated it, but I had to climb like the steepest ends for some reason because I'm stupid. But looking at Gable Creek now after I did the others, probably the easiest map ever. Even though these mountains are going to like 3,000 elevation, it's kind of insane. So week 1 was that, and that only lasts for a while, and then we would get a day off on Sundays. So we would work from Monday to Saturdays. We would map every single day. Sometimes half days, depending on if something was due that day or not. But then week 2 was called the Narrows. Only Sunday, yeah. You only got Sunday off, and that's probably due to like legal stuff that you only get like one day off. So essentially, Sundays were my day off. We were also there with another college, but it was our thing. It was our campground. But week 2 was called the Narrows slash bathtub, and day 1 of the Narrows was fucking awful because that was the day. So I'm not like a fast person of going up or down because going up is a lot of leg work. Your thighs and your calf burn, but then going down, like your ankles and knees hurt, and everything kind of takes a toll on you. And so to save like some balance, you got sunburnt. Yeah, I got sunburnt. I've been sunburnt. Just assume I've been sunburnt throughout this entire thing because I was sunburnt throughout this entire camp. But essentially, like going down the Narrows, one of the ridges, to be safe, I would slide on my ass down like cliff sides so I would not, fall and tumble and die. But I was sliding on my ass, and then when I got to like the bottom and I stood up, I was like, my ass is breezy. I go to feel, and I have no pants anymore. My pants have 2 large holes for both of my cheeks. And for the rest of the day, I was walking around with assless chaps, which became the butt of the joke for the entire camp, basically, of assless chaps. I had underwear on, so it wasn't the worst. And throughout this entire, I think for the rest of my life, I will never ever feel shame again because I had to walk around with assless chaps, basically. That being said, those pants are absolutely shredded. I had like 4 pairs of pants. That was the first pair that got like shredded. The next few days of the Narrows slash bathtub. Now I have a new nickname, the Assless Chaps. Yeah, that was basically my new nickname at the camp. But like for the rest of the Narrows slash bathtub, which was a 5.5 day mapping experience, I would go on to rip 2 more pairs of pants. There was like the normal ripping, like the crotchal area where pants I think normally rip a lot if they're like old. Mind you, these pants are like 2-3 years old at this point, so they've been through the ringer of like the California mapping days. And oh man, I got to like my last pair of pants and I fucking ripped those too. So I had to get a supply drop like shipped to me for more pants, thicker, better pants. That's why you always pick up more than 1 pair of pants and shorts. Yeah, so I got a supply drop on July 4th. Yeah, we also had a map on July 4th. We did not get that day off because it was like a Tuesday. And out in the field of July 4th, I had no idea that it was July 4th because I forgot about it. Only until we came back to camp and he gave us ice cream for the day. It's like, oh, it's July 4th. I'm like, oh, I totally forgot that it was a holiday that I was mapping in. We also weren't allowed fireworks because there was a burn ban going on. Because it's a fucking desert. Anything catches on fire. But like, I got new pants and those never ripped ever again. Thank God. So I needed those pants. But then, so that was like week 2 where I ripped like all of my pants. And I think one of them ripped on week 3, right before the supply drop. Actually, on the day of the supply drop, I ripped another pair of pants of my old ones. But I have new pants now. I never ripped a shirt or underwear, surprisingly, so I wasn't too awful. Told you that you were it's not the thickness, it's the rocks that are like basically knives. So week 3 was we were in a canyon and we were mapping a canyon, and let me tell you that as much fun as I was having mapping the canyon, it's also a lot harder. That was the day 1 of that canyon was the hardest day I've ever had because for some reason my team wanted to go up essentially a vertical wall to walk, and my fat ass was struggling the entire fucking time up that wall that I actually needed support to get up that wall. And that's why we have teams, because we were helping each other get up the wall. And my God, I was going through it. I don't think I've ever had as many panic attacks as I've had going up that wall, like ever. It was like 4 continuous panic attacks. Like I would calm down and then I would take a few more steps and I would slide again down the fucking wall and another panic attack would ensue. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that many panic attacks in my life. It was pretty brutal. There was also later found out there was never a need to go up that wall because we could have just went around. It would have taken a little bit longer, but we could have just walked around the ridge that we were trying to climb. Fucking stupidest thing I've ever seen that I had to climb. But to bring into the fun part of it, the puzzle, when we were mapping the canyon, like the bottom floor, there was a anticline, which is essentially layers that are folding. It was an anticline that was overturned that also was faulted through. So if you could imagine a cake, basically, the layers of cake, imagine it getting bent and then off, like cut through and then shifted again. It's essentially what was going on, and it was the most frustrating thing to like ever plot on a map ever. But it was fun because it's like it's the puzzle of geology. Also annoying as all fuck, because like that was only day 1 of that area, and then day 2 was essentially going back to that area but then climbing a fucking 4,000 foot mountain. Now I want cake. I also want cake. I had a lot of brownies. I think the reason I didn't lose any weight was only because I was trying to eat copious amounts of food to maintain energy, but like a lot of brownies. It was a lot of brownies. More brownies than probably a human should ever have to eat. Like 30 hot wings on Wednesday. Well, let me tell you this. I ate like 30 pounds of beans in one day because I was so fucking hungry. 40 nuggets on Thursday. Well, how about 40 pounds of spaghetti? But besides the food, it was a lot of fuck them beans. I love beans. I had beans today. So that was like the canyon. The canyon was rough and a little hot. Also, my team kind of sucked because like they would run off. One of them would run off, and we're supposed to stick together for safety reasons. And it was awful because I was literally the slowest person in that camp because I was like so safety. Like I didn't like going fast. And then week 4 was when the other college left us because they were only out for 3 weeks and we were out there for 4 weeks. So this was last week basically is what we went to Strawberry Lake on. He gave us an extra day off for whatever reason. The extra day off was going to Strawberry Lake, which was fine. I liked it. And then it became just like very easy maps. You look like a person that likes beans. Most people like beans. I think 90% of the world likes beans because they're in like every dish. They're in a lot of dishes. They're also used in a lot of random foods that you would not think beans would be in. So anyway, beans aside, beans are not nasty. Beans are fine. Essentially, we get to do these like weird random maps, and then comes the individual mapping day where they put us in a small area, so there's no like safety things involved. We had 2 mapping days. One of them was 2 weeks ago, and one of them was last week Thursday, which was our last mapping day. The first mapping day for individuality is you can't talk to anyone. You can't talk to anybody. Like if you get caught talking, you like get a sentence to like a timeout or some shit. I don't know. No one talked, so I don't know what the punishment was. But it was really funny because people would walk by and whisper like some random shit to make someone laugh. but like it was essentially just going up. And so like this map was small, but it was very easy to get lost. So I climbed up the first ridge, and then I was like, I'll go to the next tallest point and then walk the ridge down to the other side of the map. Somehow my ass got up to the top of the point, and I thought I was still in the mapping area, but essentially I walked a good like mile outside the mapping area, which was so stupid because I was like, I don't know how my fat ass got up to this point of the mountain, this point of outside the mapping area. I had to walk my ass down the mountain because I was so far out just to continue mapping. And there was like 40-foot drops in the valley that I was walking. I was like, I'm gonna fucking die. I'm gonna fucking die. Like every 2 steps, I was like, well, I'm slipping. Here I go down the valley again. And then the second map day was back to the donut, which was the first mapping area that we talked about. But this time around, I was able to run around the map because I was more in shape than I was the first day. The only problem with this one is it was another individual map day, so you couldn't talk to anyone. But when I got to a gully, like a river system, there was a fucking snake in it. And I fucking ran across the entire goddamn map to not be involved with that snake. It was not a rattlesnake, but it was a big ass snake. And speaking of snakes, like one of our days, like last week, there was a rattlesnake that showed up in our camp, and the teacher took a shovel and killed it. And it was a glorious battle of man versus snake. I think overall, it was a very, very fun experience. I think if you want to be a geologist, just be wary that it is rough. It is very rough. Please get it, like working out and walking and doing stuff before you even attempt to do these classes, like the mapping classes, unless they change the program sometime. But like, because I think I did like 5 months of gym time before I even went out to this field, and then I sat in the sauna to prepare for heat, which the heat wasn't that bad this time around. It was about 8, it never touched above 90, which was perfect. I did take a fat nap in the field for like 2 hours one day, and I was like, it was glorious because I slept and then I got to wake up at like noon. It was just continued mapping. It was a great nap. But then, yeah, just be cautious. You need a lot of water. So I packed about 4.5 liters of water every single day, which is why my back fucking hurts. Like now, like my entire body is so fucking sore. My calves and thigh hurts from walking up mountains. My ankles and knees fucking hurt from going down mountains. My back hurts from carrying fucking water and my own fat ass up a mountain. And my God, did you get some intense runner highs when you make it to the top of a fucking mountain though? Because it's all unstable ground. There is no trails. There's not a single trail involved. It is always find your own path, get the fuck up the mountain, and crawl under some fucking barbed wire, because we're in like we're in like enclosures where cows would be, so they have barbed wire everywhere that you have to like climb under. Which is kind of how I ripped a couple pair of my pants, is going under the barbed wire and getting like rips. Besides the point, I hate climbing under barbed wire now. And eggs. But overall, fun experience, not my can of beans. Because I want to do something kind of different, but a fun experience if you are, and a great like time if you have the friends to go with and you're just kind of vibing. Which is essentially all it really is a vibe. I'm just glad I passed. I don't have to do it again. I'm almost done with my bachelor's for geology, and I'm hoping to get a job soon. If streaming takes off, that will be my job. If not, then I'm probably going to be a geologist at somewhere. But yeah, overall, just be prepared if you want to be a geologist, because I thought it was going to be easy when I became a geologist, and it was not. There's a lot of walking involved and a lot of looking at the dirt and assuming what you know under the dirt. and random shit that you will not ever understand. But yeah, that's it.